We continue to bring you quality insights into the Forex markets here on Dukascopy TV, and I'm joined by Siegenthaler from Swiss bank UBS to discuss the Eurozone. Thanks for joining me, Bayat. Assuming the Greek situation sees a short-term solution, do you think we're now going to see a shift in focus to the US and its debt ceiling?
I think first of all, I would say that it seems, people are quite happy to buy risk right now, hoping that going into the summer we'll get a bit of positive momentum with now the Greek quote through, they're getting the money. Tomorrow is ISM number Friday, which is very important if that is not quite as bad as some people were fearing, and then next week we get the ECB rate hike. That maybe the sense will be that not everything is quite as bad on these fronts that we have been focusing on so far, which is Eurozone and US growth, and that then it would start to quieten down, but with a bit of positive kind of underlying sentiment. Then, of course, there is the whole debt ceiling issue, which will have to be resolved over the next few weeks, and some people suggesting this may be underestimated, but I think the sense that they will come to some kind of compromise is very strong, and it will take quite a bit to shake this belief in the market.
What will be the impact of the ongoing debt discussions on the US dollar? Because potentially it has both bearish and bullish implications for the greenback.
It's actually not straightforward. On the one hand, it's a US negative thing. I mean, it's not nice, people talking about default for the US, even though, of course, it wouldn't be quite the default in the sense that things would fall apart, wouldn't be quite as bad, but still, it would be negative for US sentiment overall. But of course, one would have to assume it's still a negative. But if it was to trigger risk aversion globally, then it could actually be all positive, because then everybody would go to the safe havens, and still US treasuries would still be safe havens, even if the problem originates in the US, still it could actually benefit.
The euro has bounced above the 145 level against the dollar. Do you expect it to remain there for a while now?
Yes, I think we could even go a bit higher still. The sense is that positioning is not overly long the euro. Again, if the ECB is hiking rates next week, which based on Trichet's comments just out now is pretty much a sure thing, then we could quite easily, if this scenario plays out of risk sentiment being reasonably supported during the summer, then we could quite easily go towards 150 on euro dollar until in August, September, we basically get the next wave of Greek and Eurozone issues, as the next review is due on the IMF EU program, and the ESM is in German Parliament. So a bit of a relief, as people are a bit sick and tired of all these issues, and just happy to focus on ECB, which will provide a more constructive backdrop. But once everybody's coming back from the beach and the holidays after the summer, things will be pretty much back to where we were.
And what about the Swissy? Do you expect some significant weakening of the Swiss franc over the summer months?
Yes, under that scenario, it would weaken a bit, but it's kind of hard to see it. Let's say Euro Swiss going much above 122, 123, even in a relatively benign scenario. We don't go very much higher on Euro Swiss, but once bad things happen again, we go down quite a lot. Also, because positioning in terms of short Euro Swiss is not very, very strong. So there is actually there's not a heavy short positioning which would suggest a big risk of a correction upwards. So the sense is we are going up a little bit, but not very much. But once things start to deteriorate again, we could fall quite significantly once again.
Thank you, Bayat. Siegenthaler there, whose CV includes a stint at the IMF. The line wasn't brilliant, but we'll sort that out for next time. Goodbye for now.